Hi, on this one, finish up the interior and I built a back seat from, pretty much nothing. Relatively inexpensive. Let's go. Remember this project? Yeah, we'll get back to it, I promise, very soon, but I'm showing you my list. So it's currently 21 days till Hot Rod Power Tour kicks off. And I just want to be overly prepared, but I don't even know what that means because I've never done it before. I mean, my goal with Sage Patina here was to get it going and make it last year. Obviously, that did not happen because, we just got the thing pretty much sorted out now. But this year, this year, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get going. Some of the stuff on the list is kind of cosmetic. Other stuff is kind of like nut and bolt check, mandatory, regular service. Just make sure it's okay. Like I said before, I've been driving this thing around and it's been performing flawlessly and no complaints whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure it's good to go. I'm nervous about it. Don't get me wrong, but I think I'm going. And I'll see a good group of people that are, I hear all these stories about people helping other people out, and that just eases up the worriness of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm still nervous about going, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. Today, though, I want to get going on the back seat cosmetic thing. Obviously, I don't have one. My issue is because the car is mini tubbed and caged, roll barred, whatever you want to call it. I need to fit these back seats, and I already tried once. These are the originals, obviously unupholstered, and I cut a spring section out of the rear there in order to give me a little bit more room because I did move the front seats back quite a bit compared to where the stock bench was, and if I could get that in there, this would work well. But my problem is I can't squeeze it in between the cage, and it's too big, it's too bulky, too much going on here. So my new plan is I'm going to cut this sucker right down the middle. I'm gonna get rid of all these springs. I'm gonna make a new base. So it's gonna be kind of like, let's see here, 4 sections I think is what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for the bases made out of metal, and then those will be wrapped. And then on top of that will be a platform, and attaching to that platform will be the cushions. I have some like some 4-inch foam that I might cut to make fit and kind of resemble, I don't know how fancy I want to get with this. I kind of want them to resemble the front seat. I got some material that looks pretty dang similar, and I think I can make it happen, but my problem is I don't have a sewing machine. I do know how to hand stitch, and I think I can knock it out by hand stitching it. Or I'm gonna end up buying a sewing machine and learning how to do that. It's just one more thing, sure, that I could learn. Why not? Because I don't have enough. Anyway, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to cutting this guy up and making it fit back there, and then kind of building off from that. And then the same thing with the rear seat. I don't know how much of this can actually fit. I've never tried that, or I shouldn't say the rear back, the back of the seat. That's what that is. But again, I have a huge chunk of 4-inch memory foam that I think I can replace this with, because this is about 4 inches, right? Sure. So if I just use this back piece and maybe cut it in sections, kind of do the same thing, I think I can knock it out, and I think I can make it look good. And again, I don't know how, people are not gonna sit back there. I'm 6'2", and I barely fit back there. It's more for aesthetics purposes than anything, and kind of block off sound that's coming from the trunk, quiet it down, a little bit more comfortable ride. The more cushiony stuff that you can get in there, the less tinny the thing sounds. So yeah, as you can tell, my plan is I don't really have one, so I'm just gonna get to it. I'm just gonna start cutting things up until they fit, and then build off from there. So yeah, let's get to it. Went ahead and removed 800 million of these clips here, and I got the base part of it from the spring part completely separated. Like I said before, I actually shortened this guy up a bit in order to fit within the mini tubs themselves. So I have a lot of like open structure, and that's what this guy is here. Just picked this up from my hardware store, local hardware store. Just a piece of rod. I'm going to bend it and basically fit it to run along here, and all along here, and then bend it again to fit along here. And I'm gonna weld this all together, make it nice and strong, and then I'll run 2 stringers that go from front to back, and then I'll cut it in half, and then that will give me my 2 sections. I tried to fit this in the car just like this, and it still won't fit, because I was like, maybe I could simplify it and just leave it as is, but no, it's got to be 2 base structures and then 2 top structures to make it all work. So that's fun. Yeah, this is all my stuff I picked up. I don't know how much of this I'm going to use or not, but it's going to come in handy just to make a nice base. So yeah, I got to clean these up, bend this up, weld this up, and then I'll show you when this base structure is all done. All right, new plan, because my plan keeps changing, because like I said, I don't have one. This actually fits in there really, really well. I can maneuver in and out with ease, because I actually cut about that much off of each side and kind of re-welded it, re-bent some stuff up. And then now it's able to come in and out. So I don't have to build or cut this thing in half. I don't have to build a separate section to come up for the cushion to sit on, because what I'm thinking is I'll take that cushion, and if I make 14 individual pieces this size, 4 inches thick, and I glue them all together, then it'll just be a giant foam cushion that sits like that, and then I can just make material wrap around that. If I cover this in burlap in order to keep the structure from the foam to sink through, it should work out just fine, because that's kind of how they do it back in the day anyway, is burlap in order to keep everything from falling through. I think that's my plan now, my non-planned plan. I have to make structure from here to here, and then when I do the foam, obviously, you know, that won't work, so I'm gonna have to section it out, these 2 sections, because this is like an 8-inch section right here, and it happens to be like right in the middle, so these 2 will be a little bit different than the rest of them, and then when I glue it all together, it'll just be a giant cushion that just sits on top. So I am completely overcomplicating this by trying to make it simpler. So that's fun. So yeah, let me go ahead. I need to do these 2 pieces. And I'm gonna go grab some foam and start marking it out. Then hopefully I can get this stuff cut out. I got like a foam knife and I have no idea how it works. So we're gonna learn together on how that all kind of goes together. And I also need to do another rod, like from here across, and maybe another one from here across, so that when I wrap it around and I use the hog rings, it's got something to bite to. So I got to keep that in mind too. I'm thinking out loud. I'm not telling you, I'm telling me as I tell you. So, yep, let me do that. I have the base structure piece pretty much all set. It's all welded up with all the extra bracing and stuff in there, and stuff for the hog rings to tie onto. As you can see, I'm working on the foam right now, and I know it looks rough and they don't look the same, but once they're all glued together, my idea is I'm gonna be able to sand these things down and shape them the way I want to shape them, to make sure that, you know, they all are, it'll look like one giant piece, you know, because I got to cut out for the center and stuff there too. Just showing you my process here. So I picked up one of these on Amazon. It's a foam cutter, and I wish that the mouth was wide enough to do all of it, but it's not. Let me kind of show you how it works though. Just a test piece here. So it cuts it so smooth and so easy. You just got to take your time and let it work it. And bloop, look at that. Cut it right out. Nice clean cut. Works out awesome. So, but to get my big cuts, I am working with, just this blade here. Nothing crazy. I'm trying to stay as square as I can to it to get the good chunks out. And then I come back through. And then where I can use this little guy, that's where I am using it. So I have 14 of them to cut out. So this is gonna be a very long process, but once I get them all cut out, I can start gluing them all together. Like I just said, that took forever, but it's looking pretty good. Unless, you don't think it is, but it's it's good enough. It's going to, once get all glued together, I'll smooth it out. You can kind of see I already did this section here. And then I'll fine tune it, and then I'll kind of round this off here, and just make it a lot better. But it's late. So I'm gonna go in and then I'll pick this up tomorrow and I'll glue all these together and I'll make it one giant cushion. Time to go ahead and glue these things together. Got them all numbered, and the way I'm gonna do it, I have like a smooth edge next to a rough edge on pretty much every single one except for the middle, because I mean obviously this is all gonna get shaved down in order to, you know, look presentable and like make it look all like one giant piece, and that's kind of the goal for here. So I'm gonna take my time with this, spray both sides, just do one section at a time. Again, using this 3M headline adhesive, stuff works awesome. Let it tack up, start sticking them together, and then pretty soon we'll have one giant cushion. Check it out. So, giant cushion, awesome. Now we gotta shape it, and I honestly did not know how to do it until I looked it up last night on YouTube. And because, you know, my cuts aren't the cleanest, I'm gonna use a pickle jar. Went to my local grocery store and I picked up a jar of pickles just for this jar top, because I didn't have any in the house. Anyway, poked a bunch of holes in it with a screw and a hammer, and it should work out awesome. So I'm gonna sit here like a child and just kind of scrub on this until I get a shape out of it, and I'll show you when it's done. It's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna throw on a movie or something and just sit here, keep going, and make a mess. And we should have a nice back seat cushion. I honestly can't believe that worked that well. I made straight edge reference marks, and then I just kept sanding it down and then using each flat one as a reference. And I just kind of like guess and eyeball them, feel it out for like the front and the back and the bottom. This looks good, guys. I'm thoroughly impressed for my first time ever making a seat cushion from, you know, scratch, putting it all together like this. But I had to test fit it a couple times. Had to make a little bit more notch room for the tubs themselves. But this thing fits in there awesome. Here, I'll throw it in a minute and I'll show you. There you go, just threw it in. Fits up real good. Real good. So now that I know that I have my base, I gotta work on the back, and I have no clue on what to do for that. So I'm gonna think about it here a minute, and then I'll update you when my brain starts working more. Trying to knock out the backrest part of the seat, and the way I'm gonna do that, I got some metal strap here, I kind of bent it up. So this will go kind of down to, there's like a bracket on the floor. That'll bolt to that, and then that will bolt to like the upper package tray right there. One for each side, and I'm hoping that's gonna be enough, but if not, I'll put a stringer like in between the two, maybe welded or bolted in or whatever. But on the back side of that, I'm gonna use some plywood. I need to make something for the seat to attach to. So that's what this purpose is. But I don't know my exact size or anything like that. So I picked up some just poster board here, and that's what I'm gonna make my template out of. So I know that when I go to cut this guy, it'll fit perfectly in there. So I'm gonna get going on that. I'm gonna get these in, probably just like Cleco those things in, and then figure out if I can make a piece out of the construction paper that can come in and out as one. If not, then I'm gonna have to make this into two sections, but I'm really hoping I can do it out of one. Got my backer plate made, and I lied. I did not use the construction paper to make that. I just took some rough measurements, drew it on the wood, cut it all out, and it fit perfectly the first time. Nope, that's a lie too. I had many of adjustments in order to make sure that that fit in there. I've got a plan for the back that I'm gonna cover it with. I'll show you here in a second. But the straps here, got these all set up, and these will screw to the board itself, kind of hold it all stable. But I gotta paint these black because I don't want these rustling. Not that they will. I probably could honestly leave them alone because everything's gonna get covered up. But I'm gonna paint these black, and then on top of here is where the cushion's gonna go. And the way I'm gonna mount that is I'm gonna take the same stuff I've been using for the door cards and everything. I'm gonna make another piece that'll go on top, and that will actually secure with Velcro. So it'll just be a giant cushion that secures by Velcro. So that way I can bolt this up and everything's hidden. So if you look in from the inside of the trunk, there'll be fabric. If you look on the outside, it'll be cushion. So I think that's gonna work out awesome. But yeah, let me paint these up and cut another piece out. Everything's pretty much all assembled. I got my brackets painted, then flush mount screws, and then whatever was poking out through the backside of the wood there, ground it off smooth. And then I'm using the same material I'm using as like a trunk mat. And then I lined it with that. I tried to glue it on, but honestly, it didn't work very well, so I ended up stapling it on. You won't really even be able to see that inside the car because it's so deep inside the trunk. I just wanted some kind of black backer rather than just painting plywood. Plus, I bet it'll add a little bit of sound deadening to it too. And then as you can see, I got some Velcro on this side, and then my template piece, because the foam and the material will attach to that. So all I got to do is it's just a giant cushion, and it just Velcros to it. I'm good to go. And I'm just using some finishing staples to make sure that this all stays down, because even though this has got some sticky stuff on it, it won't stick to wood so much. So on the extra flaps and stuff there, so that I can like kind of curve over and cover up the rest of everything else in order to make it kind of look seamless. And yeah, so I can bolt this guy in now and then figure out what my cushion's got to look like from there. Not too shabby. And because I'm gonna be using the 4-inch foam too, but I'm not gonna like cut it out to shape like this. I'm just gonna use an actual just flat piece. It's about 4 inches to like right there, plus the scrim foam on top of it. So when I put the backer in, this will tuck underneath it. So I just have to basically cut out a piece of foam that fits there. I'm gonna round off the top of it just a little bit. I don't really know what I'm doing with that corner there. If I'm gonna like, well, then the material won't wrap around there. How am I gonna do that? Maybe like leave a section open and then fill that in with a separate piece that just kind of like Velcros to it or something like that. It's probably my best bet, I would think. Just make it a separate piece. That's what I'm gonna probably have to do. Make a completely separate piece for just those corners to stick in. That'll work. All right, take some quick measurements, cut out some foam. And that should be it for just making a base and a back. And I should probably show you the trunk side too. So just as, you know, black carpet so you don't see anything. Those extra flaps just kind of like cover. Let's see if we can, there we go, you can see it better now. So it tucks like up, tucks down, flaps going to the sides. And if you're looking that close at it, you're looking way too close. And then this guy here, I picked that up on Amazon. It's like a trunk organizer. I think I got it for 50 bucks or something like that. I got it for power tool reasons because I can fit, you know, all maybe extra parts or oil or coolant or whatever I want in there. And then this side's got a cooler, tools and stuff I can stuff in there. And then I still got a bunch of room for my suitcase. So that's gonna work out nicely. And then it's got some tie downs there. It's tied down to the cage itself. So once this thing's full, it's not gonna slide around or do anything weird. So nice. Yeah, let me, I'm gonna go grab some foam. Got the foam all cut out and it's looking good. It's just like pushed in right now. I mean, it's not attached to anything. It's got to come down just a little bit, and then that will just kind of lock the base in as well. So I really like it. And another thing, like this is just mostly aesthetics. Like I try to sit back here. I can sit back there, but it is not the most comfortable thing in the world. My head kind of hits the top. Plus with those bars, the down bars, I wouldn't really want anybody to sit back there anyway, because I mean, if something were to happen and you hit your head on that bar, you're donezo. Like that's not a good thing to have. So where was I going with this? I don't know. I gotta wrap this now. Oh, I bought a sewing machine and I've been messing with it for the past couple of days. I don't think my skill levels are up to what I want the end product to be and become. So because I'm on a time crunch, I think I'm gonna go the simple route, which won't look bad, but it just won't look as detailed. I'm just gonna like wrap it in vinyl and then call it a day. Like that's where I think I'm at with this, because honestly, I gotta get more stuff done than just back seats, cosmetic stuff, in order to be ready for Power Tour. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna go ahead. It's late. I want to call it quits. I don't know. Do I want to wrap? Yeah, I should. Let's just wrap that back seat. Let's just wrap one of them. I don't have enough vinyl to do both at the moment. I got it on order, so hopefully I get it soon. But I'm gonna wrap just the back piece, the piece that we just made, just to see how it goes and see how it looks. So let's do that. Let's just get that done for the night. Got my piece of vinyl all cut out and I'm ready to put it on the cushion itself. And if you get this stuff, I got it on Amazon, and it comes all folded up. It's all wrinkly. Don't freak out, okay? Put it in the dryer, low heat, couple of ice cubes for like 10 minutes. it'll take everything out. Just keep an eye on it. Make sure you don't melt the stuff in your dryer. That's why I say low heat. And then it'll make it smooth and nice again. So I'm gonna get to wrapping this thing and hopefully it goes smoothly. Not too shabby, not exciting either. Yeah, just cover it up, staple it on the back side. I mean, I just did a double fold on the corners in order to make it kind of like consistent. You won't really see it anyway. But no, it just fits flat. You pull it taut, but not like super tight. It should work out just fine. I mean, I probably should have glued it, the face of it at least to it, but honestly, like this is nice and flat and smooth. And once I put it in the car, it's gonna do its job. It looks like a bus seat. But it's fine. It's black, it's vinyl, texture matches these guys here. So we're good to go. I don't know, like I said before, I ordered more. I don't have enough to do the bottom, and I've got some stuff coming up this weekend, so I might like cover that with a Mexican blanket or something like that. It's late now. My goal tomorrow is to get those sides knocked out so that I have something there instead of just being bare metal. And it'll just kind of like finish off the rest of the interior. So cool. Again, I wish I had better skills in sewing, but we'll get there and then we'll redo it and it will be much better. Finally got my material to cover this guy up, but I think what I'm first gonna do is layer this in a layer of scrim foam. So I'm gonna cut out a giant piece and glue it on this surface, and this surface, hopefully all is one. Because as you can see here, I got a little bit of a gap issue, and if I try to cover this up with vinyl, it's gonna leave this open. So I need to fill this in right here. So that's what I'm gonna do before I cover it. So I'm gonna go cut out foam and I'm gonna cut out material. Then I'll come back out here and glue it all on. And then I will just hog ring the material in. And I don't know if I explained it earlier, but I'm not sewing anything. So this crease, I might have to hand stitch, and I'll kind of show you guys a trick for that if I end up doing that. Otherwise, it's just gonna kind of get like a fold. But I think it's a good opportunity to just hand stitch it up, do a hidden stitch there, tighten it up. But yeah, let me go do that, and I'll update you when I got the foam on. Got the foam cut out, ready to go on. I didn't like final form fit it because that's how I'm gonna do it, is just, glue sections down at a time and just make it fit after that, and then glue those sections down at a time. I also had to do just one extra layer here to make it a little bit thicker in order to make up for that gap that I showed you earlier. That should work out fine. So I got glue on this half, glue on that half, made a mark of kind of where it stopped here. So I kind of know where to spray the glue, letting this tack up, fold this side over, then fold the other side over, do the same thing, and then I'll fine cut tune my corners, and then it should all flow nicely because I don't know, you can't really see it. See the back seat there? It had a little bit of you can see the texture of this through the vinyl itself. This should solve that issue completely. That's my hope anyway. I guess we're gonna find out. All covered up. Just kind of cut it as good as I could, like on the corners in here, but I don't think that's really gonna matter because my seam is gonna go right there for the material itself. All that really matters is the top and this curved over part. And I left a little bit of a flap down at the bottom there in order to make up the difference in height that it needs. So it has a little bit of cushion behind it, so it's just not material completely all the way through. That's my idea behind it. But now I have my material cut out. I'm just gonna layer them, fold it over, and just hog ring it. And just go to town on it, stretch it, pull it real tight. Should work out just fine. There we go. All wrapped up. I know I said I might stitch this side, but I just kind of like folded it over, pulled it taut, and then these little wrinkles here. You'll never see this anyway because this goes right up against that panel anyway, but I pulled it real tight and it looks nice and smooth. No weird wrinkles on the top and on the front. And that's all that really matters, because that's right here is all you're gonna see. Bottom side here, just, you know, curled it over so I had as much material as I could to hog ring tie it, and just makes it much more stronger. I mean, it's not the prettiest in the world, but you know what? It's a seat. So I can throw that in now. I have seat belts also that I need to throw in, but I need to drill some holes and stuff like that, and obviously bolt those all in. But this car is low, and I'm not gonna do that until I have an actual excuse to do it, like when it's up in the air for whatever reason. Plus, you know, nobody's gonna sit back there anyway. So it's just for aesthetic purposes. I think I've said that before. But I will eventually throw some seat belts in there. Same ones, same style, retro belt makes for the front. Just some lap belts in the back, but cool. Yeah, I can throw this in. Installed, looks good. I mean, again, not what I was completely envisioning in my head of what I really wanted, but it's gonna work just fine to get this car looking more complete and to get it to where it needs to be for Power Tour, because I don't know, I might have to sleep back there a night or two. Who knows? Guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, seat completed. There we go, custom back seat all done. Hopefully you guys can take a little something away from that and apply it to your own projects. A week and a half. I got a week and a half until Power Tour starts. So I'm stressing a little bit because I got some other things going on with the car. I'm trying to figure out, which will be on the next episode, next show, next whatever this is. But I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be fun, nerve-wracking fun. That's what it's gonna be. Anyway, if you guys made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. Got a lot more coming up. Thanks, guys.